This story takes us back to a time when cities weren't filled with bright lights, and village lanes still carried the earthy fragrance of wet soil. In a small corner of one such village, under the shade of an old peepal tree, sat a 13-year-old boy. His clothes were torn, lips dry, and eyes filled with pain. His name was Mohan. Mohan was born into a poor family. His parents were daily wage laborers who struggled to earn even 2 meals a day. But one day, a terrible flood changed his life forever. The raging water swept away his home, and his parents went missing, never to return. When the flood water finally receded, Mohan was left all alone. No home, no parents, no one to turn to. Life had suddenly become a difficult test. For a few days the villagers helped him, but slowly they began to ignore him. Some said, "Orphans have no future," while others murmured, "He'll survive by begging." At a young age, Mohan realized he had to build his life on his own. But how? With hope in his heart, he started walking toward a nearby city. He believed he might find work there. But the city was far harsher than he expected. On the busy streets, all he saw were crowds. People were so caught up in their lives that no one noticed his hunger or pain. For several days, Mohan begged for food, but his heart wasn't at peace. One night, while sitting on a footpath, a middle-aged man noticed him. He was wearing simple clothes, but there was depth in his eyes. He asked, "Son, why are you begging like this?" Mohan replied softly, "I have no other way. What else can I do?" The man took a deep breath and said, "Have you heard? Destiny helps those who help themselves. If you want, I can show you a better path than begging." Mohan was surprised, but there was something in the man's voice that reached at his heart. Gathering courage, he asked, "Who are you, and what can you teach me?" The man smiled and said, "My name is Kailash Ji. I work at a nearby shop. If you're willing, I can teach you something that will help you live without begging." Mohan couldn't understand why this stranger wanted to help, but he had nothing to lose. He nodded and said, "Please teach me." Kailash Ji took Mohan to a small shop that sold sweets, snacks, and daily use items. He said, "If you work here, you'll earn your own money. But remember, patience and honesty are important in hard work." Mohan immediately agreed. The next day, he started his job. At first, he swept the floor and washed utensils. His body was tired, but his heart was filled with new hope. When the day ended, the shopkeeper gave Mohan 5 rupees and a warm roti. It was the first time Mohan had earned money through his own effort. He held the roti in his hands, smelled its warmth, and thought, how different this is from the dry crumbs of begging. Kailash Ji watched and said, "See, hard work has its own flavor. But this is only the beginning. The real journey starts when you decide to stand on your own feet." That day, Mohan promised himself that he would never beg again. He continued working at the shop, but soon realized that sweeping floors and washing dishes alone wouldn't change his life. He wanted to learn more. One day, he asked Kailash Ji, "Can I learn something else?" Kailash Ji saw the spark in Mohan's eyes and said, "If you truly want to learn, you should not fear new responsibilities." He then taught Mohan how to count money and talk to customers. Slowly, Mohan began to understand how the shop ran. He realized that destiny doesn't change by waiting. It changes when we decide to change it ourselves. Mohan was no longer just a boy who cleaned the shop. He was always eager to learn. By observing customers, he understood which items sold the most and what people liked. One day, while the shop owner was away, a customer came and said, "Brother, give me 1 kilo of gram flour." Mohan froze for a moment. He had never done this before. But he gathered courage, went inside, found the packet, weighed it, and gave it to the customer. When the shop owner returned and heard what happened, he was impressed. "You're learning fast, Mohan. If you keep working like this, you'll go far." These words filled Mohan with happiness. For the first time, he truly felt capable. Days passed, and Mohan became skilled at every task in the shop. But success is never easy. One day, the shop was crowded. In a hurry, Mohan handed the wrong item to a customer. The customer got angry and complained to the owner. The shopkeeper scolded him, saying, "If you can't handle the shop, don't do this job." Mohan was heartbroken. "Maybe I'm not meant to do something big," he thought. Kailash ji noticed his sadness and called him aside. He said, "Son, failure doesn't mean you've lost. True victory lies in standing back up after a fall." Hearing this, Mohan's eyes lit up again. He promised himself he would work even harder. Not only did he serve customers, but he also started learning how to manage the shop fully. Every day, he asked questions and learned more. One day, Mohan asked Kailash ji, "Can I open my own shop someday?" Kailash ji smiled and said, "If you work hard and stay patient, nothing is impossible. But you must believe in yourself and give it time." Mohan decided he didn't want to just work for someone else forever. He wanted his own shop, but he had no money. How would he gather the funds? He realized that running a shop required three things: money, experience, and trust. He had already gained experience and earned trust, but he needed money. He asked Kailash ji, "Can I take on more work to save money?" Seeing his dedication, Kailash ji smiled and said, "Yes, son. For those who work hard, doors always open." He introduced Mohan to a vegetable vendor who sold produce in the city. Mohan decided he would work on the vegetable cart in the mornings and evenings and at the shop during the day. His routine became even more challenging, working from morning till night. Whether it was summer or rain, Mohan never stepped back. His legs would ache, but at night he would smile, looking at the small pile of coins he had saved. These coins were the result of his sweat and hard work. Slowly, his savings grew. He didn't waste a single rupee. Mohan had learned that earning money is not easy, but when earned the right way, it can change lives. After a few years, he had saved enough to buy a small food cart. With the shop owner's permission, he started his own little tea and snack stall. The first day he served tea, his eyes filled with tears. This wasn't just tea. It was the taste of struggle, patience, and effort. People loved his tea, and soon a crowd started forming at his stall. The same Mohan, who once begged on the streets, was now building a life with his own hands. He decided to serve his customers honestly and kindly. His stall became so popular that people from nearby areas started recognizing him. One day, Kailash ji came to visit and said, "Look, son, today your hard work brought you here. This is what destiny truly is, when your own hands shape your future." Mohan smiled and touched his feet. "What you taught me is what changed my life," he said. Now, Mohan not only took care of himself, but also began teaching other poor children how to work and earn. He told them, "If you work hard, you will never go hungry." Years passed. Mohan's tea stall became a small hotel. He now had his own house, a better life, and most importantly, self-belief. One night, as he sat in front of his hotel, he saw the same old footpath where he once begged. His eyes filled with tears, not of sorrow, but of contentment. Mohan had become living proof that destiny favors those who work hard. Destiny doesn't change by waiting. It changes through honest effort and determination. Like Mohan, if we believe in ourselves, work hard with patience, and never give up, life will reward us with success. Instead of begging, or giving up, it's better to start any small work, because true success is the one we earn with our own hands.